Humanity is only a few days away from total chaos. If electricity and/or supply chains collapse, we can expect very tough times. Let's look into the case only if there is a slightly longer power outage for some reason. There are countless reasons for this, such as a stronger solar flare or an EMP weapon, perhaps a terrorist or cyber attack, or just simple human error. Now let's start from the unfortunate situation of having to face a 314-day, so-called longer power outage. What will happen to us and our environment? Even the first day is very critical. There are some generators, but they provide limited operation, so electronic payments will most likely not be available during this period. ATMs, cash registers, and computers are not working. Laziness reigns supreme, so at the beginning, you won't be able to buy anything for cash, or only in limited quantities, because manual receipts will not be accepted, certainly not in large supermarkets. Maybe it will be possible to buy goods in the smaller shops, in cash while supplies last. Yes, while stocks last. Since gas stations can't serve you without electricity, as long as the aggregators are running, the gas pump works, then it is limited. This helps to prevent disruptions in supply chains. In public transport, trams, trolleybuses, and metros stop immediately. The others over time. Traffic lights off. I don't envy those who are caught up in an elevator by this event either. Air travel won't take much time either. Transmission towers, signal transmitters, aggregators can withstand up to their capacity. Telecommunications and the internet will not last long either. Sooner or later, the electricity is irreplaceable here as well. And of course, the mobile phone service will probably be the first to collapse under the pressure of the panicked masses of people calling. There is no heating or air conditioning, depending on the season or location of the blackout. In the evening, without public lighting, the cities become a priority, crime increases, and looting begins. And that's just the first day. Food supply areas are facing critical problems. The ventilation systems, hatching equipment, milking machines, and watering systems of the animal farms are not working. Raw materials and stocks that require cooling deteriorate. And everything in the refrigerators of the population also deteriorates. Life-sustaining machines in hospitals will sooner or later stop working. Operations are missed. Then, over time, the piped water service and wastewater drainage will stop. The situation is the most difficult in the big cities. The possibility of obtaining water from tap stops or ceases. Toilets cannot be flushed. Sewage pumps do not work. On the second day, everyone is already a little more tense. The preppers start to perk up. They start to rethink what they have learned so far, what should be bug-in, bug-out inventory control, maybe even new acquisitions quickly at any price, keeping the family together, gathering them if they are out of touch, school, college trip. The police and the military are moving. The government is trying to come up with some kind of emergency scenario, if there is one. Ordinary people ask each other questions, ways out, and look for opportunities. Kidney patients, diabetics, and those in need of constant care will be among the first victims. Because addicts do not have access to adequate doses, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, they become more and more tense and aggressive. Maybe they will organize the possibility of purchase with cash in certain places. Maybe with the help of the government, they can make food unit packages that can be bought, but traditional shopping is over if you don't have printed money. On the third day, many people do not have access to their medicines, but the general problem is still the lack of drinking water, which affects everyone. If you have a reserve of food or drinking water, a water purifier, water bottle with a cleaning filter, don't tell anyone from now on, because it might cost you your life. The situation may be better in the countryside, There will be more opportunities to survive. Every prepper knows this is a plan B. Checkpoints will likely be set up. Curfews or bans will be enforced. On the fourth day, the tank cars, from which you can buy drinking water, may start to run. However, it will be worth filtering if you have something. Food and canned food distribution will probably start to some extent. But the situation will get worse and worse. From the fifth day onwards, it is expected that there will be more serious chaos in the big cities. People can also be released from prisons. Groups of underworld or just desperate people are trying to get food and drinking water, choosing their methods less and less. Law enforcement is becoming more difficult and more aggressive. It is not really worth running into any group, not during the day, even more so not at night. But one thing is for sure. Bad times make strong men make good times. Good times make weak men. Weak men make bad times. And this has been going on for thousands or tens of thousands of years. The scenario outlined above would play out similarly for a number of other events, as humanity is only 3 days of starvation away from chaos and anarchy. This is worth keeping in mind. Preparation is very important, especially mental readiness. Panic should not be our most accessible response to an unexpected event. A leader, and it is clear that you are a leader yourself to some extent, should not despair, even if there is a compelling reason to do so. That should be the principle. It is the easiest to stay calm if we have already thought about certain scenarios. If we have considered the possibility of certain situations before, in calm conditions, not under pressure. These well-thought-out options pop up immediately when needed. The situation will not be so terrifying. You will avoid panic if you have already calculated a certain event. Even if only in theory, we have thought about what can be done if the donkey strikes. If you want peace, prepare for war. The fewer people who panic about an unexpected event, the less chaos there will be. Therefore, mental preparation is very important. The association of smaller communities and the organization of communities that help each other can also be important. The smallest such unit is the family, but it's not bad if you can count on your neighbor, and he doesn't want to cut your throat right away if the justice system ends. Survival in a community is certainly more successful in all circumstances than individually. On the other hand, it is very difficult to create cohesive communities because perhaps the only holding force is common faith, and then perhaps common goals come. Both are sorely lacking in our world right now. But I believe God's spade is sorrow and tears, with which he digs the vegetable garden, where he will plant the new seed, so that it will sprout and develop, rise towards the sky. Because life is the master,